What if I told you that some of the most powerful healing foods on this continent weren't discovered in a laboratory, but were carried in medicine pouches by indigenous healers for thousands of years? Foods that helped tribes survive brutal winters, heal battle wounds, and live strong into old age without a single pharmacy. While we're all buying antioxidant supplements and immune boosters at the drugstore, there are foods that have been growing wild across North America since long before European contact. Foods with clinical trials now proving what Native Americans already knew. Stick around for number 4, a dark little berry with a preparation secret that Native Americans understood instinctively, and that science has now confirmed works at the DNA level. And number 1, a root so extraordinary, it launched one of America's first international trade deals. And what researchers found inside it just last year is the closest thing to a genuine anti-aging discovery in any plant on Earth. Here are 7 Native American superfoods science finally proved right, ranked from deeply impressive to absolutely extraordinary. 7. Wild bergamot bee balm. You might know it as bee balm, that cheerful purple wildflower pollinators go wild for in summer. Most people walk straight past it on a hike. That is a mistake. Bee balm is the original natural source of thymol, the same antiseptic compound that's the active ingredient in most commercial mouthwashes today. The Winnebago drank it as a stimulating tea. Across dozens of tribes, it treated colds, fever, headaches, and digestive complaints. The science centers on a compound called carvacrol. It activates heat-sensitive receptors in your cells, which trigger production of heat shock proteins. Think of those as a cellular repair crew. They refold damaged proteins that would otherwise accumulate into the toxic clusters now linked to accelerated aging and Alzheimer's disease. That repair mechanism matters enormously, and bee balm couldn't be easier to get into your life. Plant it once, it's a hardy perennial, and it comes back every year. Bees love it. And a handful of fresh leaves makes a gentle, aromatic tea that the Plains tribes drank at the first sign of a cold. Not a bad tradition to revive. 6. Wild rice manuman. The Ojibwe built their entire seasonal calendar around the harvest of it, calling it manuman the good berry. French explorers, baffled by a grain that grew in water, called it follavoine crazy oats. They had no idea they were looking at one of the most antioxidant-rich grains on the continent. Here's the number that stops people. Wild rice contains up to 30 times more antioxidants than white rice. White rice has essentially zero antioxidant capacity. Milling strips away the dark outer layer where every protective compound lives. Wild rice is never polished. Everything stays intact. The standout compound for older adults is GABA, the brain's natural calming chemical, present in wild rice in surprisingly high concentrations. GABA helps reduce cortisol, the stress hormone most closely linked to accelerated cellular aging. Lower cortisol means deeper sleep and better overnight repair. You can find it in most grocery stores. It costs only marginally more than white rice, has a satisfying nutty flavor, and one simple swap gives you 30 times the antioxidant return. In our grandparents' time, people didn't need a study to tell them that whole, unprocessed food was better. The Ojibwe just knew. 5. Prairie turnip. The Lakota named an entire month of their calendar after it, the moon when breadroot is ripe. The Blackfoot called it a gift from the stars, woven into legend as a root brought down from the sky by a woman who had married the morning star. When a plant becomes mythology, it usually means one thing: it kept people alive. During long winters on the plains, when the bison herds had moved on, this root was the difference between starvation and survival, and with good reason. It's rich in iron, magnesium, zinc, and plant protein. But the anti-aging mechanism modern science is most excited about is its resistant starch. Resistant starch travels intact to your colon, where beneficial bacteria ferment it into butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that acts as a genetic signal. This switches on anti-inflammatory pathways and switches off the cellular aging programs driven by chronic inflammation. And before we go further, if you're finding this useful and you want to keep exploring the healing wisdom that nature's pharmacy has been holding for us all along, now is a great time to subscribe to Elder Botanics. Let us continue to build a community of people taking back ownership of their health. Hit that subscribe button and join us. 4. Chokecherry. In 2015, a Native American high school student named Destiny Sky Pete entered her family's traditional chokecherry pudding recipe into a science fair. The results showed it could kill cancer cells in the laboratory within 24 hours. The story made headlines worldwide. Indigenous healers weren't surprised. They'd known this plant was medicine for centuries. The deep red to black color of the chokecherry is the tell. That pigment is anthocyanins, powerful anti-inflammatory agents that work by suppressing NF-κB, the master inflammation switch, at the DNA level. When NF-κB stays chronically activated in aging bodies, it accelerates cellular senescence, the process where cells stop working properly and start releasing toxic signals. Chokecherry anthocyanins physically suppress that switch, helping preserve the younger behavior of cells. Safety note. One thing you must know, the pits are toxic. Traditional preparation always cooked the whole berry and strained out the pits. Heat destroys the harmful compounds while the anthocyanins stay fully intact. Jam, syrup, jelly, all safe. Raw whole berries are not. 3. American elderberry. While European explorers searched North American forests for silver and gold, Native American communities had already solved one of medicine's oldest problems, fighting viral illness without modern drugs. Remarkably, ancient Egyptians arrived at the same plant independently, on the other side of the world. 2 compounds, with names science has worked hard to decode, physically attach to the surface proteins of viruses and jam the lock a virus needs to enter your cells. At the same time, they activate NRF2, the body's master antioxidant gene switch. NRF2 doesn't just add antioxidants from outside, it turns on the genes that make your body produce its own, including the enzymes that decline most sharply as we age. Practical note: the anti-aging compounds concentrate in the berries, not in syrups padded with added sugar, and raw elderberries will make you ill. Always cook them first. A 15-minute simmer destroys the problematic compounds and leaves every beneficial one intact. That was always the traditional method. Science confirmed it was exactly correct. Elderberry grows vigorously in most temperate gardens. A mature shrub can produce pounds of berries each autumn. It's one of the most rewarding plants you can grow. 2. Wild blueberry. Smaller, darker, and dramatically more potent than the farmed variety. The Ojibwe, Cree, and other northeastern tribes harvested them, dried them for winter, and used them medicinally for generations. What makes wild blueberries different is their environment. Poor soil, no irrigation, no care, stressed plants. And stressed plants produce far more protective compounds as a survival response than well-fed cultivated ones do. A double-blind clinical trial in healthy adults aged 65 to 80 found that daily wild blueberry consumption over 12 weeks improved cognitive performance, blood pressure, and blood vessel health compared to a placebo. Remember, not all blueberries are built the same. The big, plump blueberries in a standard grocery punnet contain far less pterostilbene. But frozen wild blueberries harvested the northeastern US and flash frozen at peak ripeness are in most supermarket freezer sections right now and are more nutritionally potent than fresh farmed ones. This is one of the easiest upgrades you can make today. 1. American ginseng. In 1715, a Jesuit priest theorized a sister species to Chinese ginseng might exist in North America. Native Americans led him straight to it. The ship Empress of China carried it as its primary cargo in 1784, opening U.S. trade with Canton and helping fund the new republic. Meanwhile, the Cherokee dug only 1 in 4 plants. For each one harvested, they left a bead, said a prayer, and planted a new seed. Sustainable wildcrafting, centuries before conservation science had a name for it. Today, American ginseng is endangered in multiple states and protected under international treaty alongside elephants and tigers. It provides 4 key beneficial mechanisms. First, mitochondrial rescue. The active compounds, ginsenosides, protect mitochondria, the energy engines of your cells whose decline drives the chronic low-level inflammation that accelerates aging throughout the body. Second, NAD+ and telomeres. A 2026 clinical study found ginseng supplementation raised NAD+ levels and measurably lengthened telomeres in middle-aged adults. NAD+ fuels cellular repair. Telomere lengthening in living human subjects, from a plant, is a result researchers are still absorbing. Third, muscle preservation. Ginsenoside RB1 protects the muscle stem cells responsible for repairing muscle tissue, directly countering the muscle wasting that begins in our 40s. Fourth, adaptogenic stress regulation. As a true adaptogen, it modulates the body's stress response, dampening chronic cortisol elevation without sedation. 4 mechanisms. 1 root. Used by Native American healers for centuries. Validated by the most advanced longevity science on Earth. American ginseng is now endangered in multiple U.S. states. Always verify your supplement is either farm-grown or wild-harvested from a licensed source. Wisconsin-grown is the gold standard. Look for state certification on the label. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you've just learned something that changes how you think about natural health entirely. These aren't alternatives to medicine. In many cases, they're where medicine came from. Smash that like button right now. It helps this video reach others who are tired of running to the drugstore for everything and ready to reconnect with the deep, practical wisdom nature has been holding for us all along. If you haven't subscribed to Elder Botanics yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.